We begin this morning with President Trump. He is firing back at House Democrats as they accelerate their impeachment push with a flurry of new subpoenas seeking testimony from Energy Secretary Rick Perry and the two indicted associates of President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani. The president reacting at the Values Voter Summit last night in our nation's capital.
Now it is the outrageous impeachment. Look, impeachment. I never thought I'd see or hear that word with regard to me, impeachment. It's a witch hunt. It's based on a single phone call of congratulations to the president of Ukraine, which they fraudulently mischaracterized to sound absolutely horrible.
Meanwhile, Democratic frontrunner Joe Biden is now voicing his full support for impeachment, saying that President Trump has left Congress with no other choice.
Donald Trump has violated his oath of office, betrayed this nation, and committed impeachable acts. To preserve our Constitution, our democracy, our basic integrity, he should be impeached.
Joining me right now is Georgia Congressman Doug Collins. He is the ranking Republican on the House Judiciary Committee. And Congressman, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
Good morning, Maria. It's good to be with you.
I want to get to the impeachment push in a moment, but first, let me get your reaction to this breaking news this morning. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, has pledged to resign from this private equity firm that he is on the board of on October 31st. And he says he will not work on any foreign-owned companies or serve on their boards if his father is elected president. This just coming out now. We know that there has been so much around this story, but now Hunter Biden says he will step down. Your reaction?
Well, it's pretty amazing now that Hunter Biden, after the light has been shined on to what seemingly is some interesting deals that were in Ukraine and China and other places. Now you're going to come out and say, well, I'll step away from all of this because it might seem to be a conflict with my father if he ever become president, which I think is a big leap of faith here to start that. This just shows you how much that this is just a messed up situation and how much that there were other things going on. And all the Democrats want to do is focus on President Trump because they don't like President Trump because of everything going on. I think this is just another way to save a flailing campaign that's going down. He knows he's in trouble, and this is just another way to try and detract attention. Now,
we know that there have already been 3 testimonies behind closed doors as part of this impeachment push. Another one on Friday. Some of it leaked out, and then other things from that cannot be leaked or discussed. Tell me what you've learned so far from these behind closed doors testimonies in this impeachment inquiry.
Well, I think to first understand the closed-door testimony, let's at least go back and remember a few points. Number one, November 2016 began the impeachment push for the Democrats because they cried in Brooklyn. They haven't got over it yet. So number one. Number two, when they gained control of the Congress last year, instead of being truthful to the American people about wanting to do something for the American people, all they said was we're going to impeach the president. Jerry Nadler wanted to be chairman of the Judiciary because he's going to impeach the president. Number three. When the impeachment hit in January, all Jerry Nadler's focus and the chairman of the Judiciary Committee was, let's have investigations. Mueller was going to show it. Everything was going to show that the president needed to be impeached. We fought back. It failed. Now you go, Speaker Pelosi and Adam Schiff had to say, we've got a failing plan here. We promised the Democratic base that we would impeach the president, and so far we can't do it. In fact, we've shown that he's done nothing wrong except have a great economy and a great standing around the world. So here's what they did, Maria, and the viewers need to know this. They said, we can't win this in the public eye, so we're going to take it behind closed doors. And so in the last few days, they have taken it behind closed doors. Adam Schiff, who has trouble telling the truth, much less spelling it, but he's a very good leaker. Let's be honest about what he is good at. He's a good leaker. So what they did is take it behind closed doors, have testimony that I've heard from folks who are in the room that says these transcripts should be released completely because they defeat the entire narrative. But as long as he can keep it behind closed doors, then they leak out to the American people only what they want to leak out. And this is why you have seen this progression up to this point. The president has done nothing wrong. He has said, and has come out in the transcripts. And by the way, if you don't believe it, just ask the Ukrainian president who said, I felt no pressure. This was simply a discussion of what's going on in our two countries. Maria, this is a sham of what's going on right now.
Well, last week we had on Congressman John Ratcliffe, and Congressman Ratcliffe mentioned 3 reasons that this seems to be questionable. Number one was that typically in any impeachment, it the jurisdiction for impeachment is the Judiciary Committee. It's not happening in the Judiciary Committee, which Nadler runs. It's actually in the Intel Committee. Number two, it is all happening behind closed doors. We don't know what anybody said. On Friday, you had another testimony from Marie Yovanovitch. She is the former ambassador to Ukraine. Her opening statement leaks, but then everything else as part of that is behind closed doors. And now they're calling him a fact witness. John Ratcliffe called him, Adam Schiff, a fact witness because, of course, he did meet with the so-called whistleblower before the complaint was public.
John's exactly right. Here's an interesting thing. Adam Schiff is so deeply involved in this. This is a man who once said, there's collusion in plain sight. We'll do whatever we want to do, because the president needs to be impeached, and we've got the proof. And he's been saying this for well over 2 years, that this president was someone who needed to be impeached. But notice what you just said there. He's a fact witness, and that his staff and others met with the whistleblower before this came out. The president then released the transcript of the call, and everybody said, okay, where's the there, because there's not a there. And yet they had helped put this out. In fact, many reporters said if you look at the whistleblower complaint, it was laid out in a way in which Adam Schiff could then go to committee and start to talk about this, and then keep it behind closed doors to only get out what they want to get out. But it's not just the Judiciary Committee that's been left out here. The Foreign Affairs Committee has been left out here as well. Speaker Pelosi knew that Adam Schiff would do whatever she wanted him to do. He's done it for years. He's doing it now. And the American people are the ones that suffer here. If they want to overturn a 2016 election, then I would recommend get in the field, have a candidate who knew where some of these states were to actually go campaign, and do that in 2020. You don't turn over an election based on the fact that you hate a president who got elected, who beat the person you thought was going to get elected. And then, by the way, he also put in he's working on trade deals. We have an economy. They can't beat him on the facts, so they're going to beat him on the lies.
But what are you going to do about it? I mean, your colleagues on the left are in control. They are in the majority. The American people are wondering what's going on in terms of this impeachment inquiry. We don't see any transcripts. We can't hear any of these hearings. Are you just going to... And then, by the way, no one's getting anything done. You're supposed to pass USMCA. You're supposed to get trade deals done, as well as perhaps gun legislation, infrastructure. So what are you going to do about it?
Well, if anybody's watched me over the last 9 months in particular, I don't sit back and take it. That's why I'm here with you this morning. That's why we've been talking about this story. If Adam Schiff wants to have it behind closed doors, my job is to pick the lock. Mine is to open it up and say, look at what has actually been happening here. Look at the lies that have been told. Look at the hearings that have been had, and nothing has came from it. And now, because you don't like the results, you take it behind closed doors. Here's what we're going to keep doing. We're going to keep putting this out. We're going to work to get these transcripts released, but also the Senate in the next couple of weeks is hopefully going to be able to begin looking at other things as well, especially the Horowitz report, which should be coming out in the next little bit. These are the kind of things, Maria, that viewers have to understand. When they look at Washington, D.C., what they're getting right now is a one-sided approach to an impeachment because Democrats know they can't win on the facts. So they're having to move it behind closed doors. So those of us like myself are going to keep going forward. I believe that sunshine is the best disinfectant. Right now, Adam Schiff don't want to have disinfectant anywhere close to what he's doing.